Welcome to Shatner's 91st birthday. We're going to be celebrating it here on Casual Day on the Dingwall. How can you tell? Check out the border. The yellow border means the video is casual and therefore not really on topic. I use this border for reactions, for design room videos, and other such types of non-reviews. If you see red, that means it's a review. If you haven't caught on to this, I don't know, but I mean, it's not really that important. Of course, I'm wearing my future shirt I got from a time traveler. I told him, no, I want the red one. See, I'm in operations. I'm an engineer, you see. I'm in that division. And he said, no, don't worry about it. They switch red and yellow in the future. And I was like, wait a minute, why? And he said, yellow doesn't look very good on the bald guy. And I just said, is there anything more you can tell me without disturbing the time-space continuum too much? And he said, nope, and then he left. So I got this uniform, he left, and I don't know nothing about the bald guy. It looks fine on me, I think, and I don't exactly have a lot of hair on top. I'm not really a spring chicken either, but here we are on Shatner's 91st birthday. That's right, he was born in, 1931? Now, I ain't that old, but it's interesting to note he's one of the few people surviving from the black and white generation, and I ain't talking about nerd chic black and white faux old. I'm talking about real old. I'm talking about the original Twilight Zone. I saw him in the original Twilight Zone. Did anyone else see him in that? I really remember him from Star Trek, some other procedural type cop show on TV. I don't remember what it was. And Twilight Zone. That's about it. You know, once you do Trek, you don't go back. You're there for life. I mean, everybody remembers what's-his-face from Quantum Leap, but Scott Bakula, he was in Star Trek, and I think 30 years from now, people are going to remember Star Trek more than Quantum Leap. Am I crazy? Or do you actually think that's going to be possible? I watched Quantum Leap, but I don't associate him with Quantum Leap. I associate him with Star Trek. Star Trek is a phenomenon, okay? It's not just a show you do. It's a show that you marry, and you're going to be there forever. You're going to be able to do conventions for the rest of your life. And hey, I mean, if you're Scott Bakula, you're doubling up. You're double dipping the chip because you can go and say you're from Quantum Leap and from Star Trek. Nothing wrong with that. You know, crossing the streams, two different sci-fi franchises. I mean, one could only wish. But today is not about Scott Bakula. Today is about William Shatner, the granddaddy of them all. He's still alive somehow. And he looks great. And he's vibrant. And he's got energy. I never dreamed, ever, that Patrick Stewart would end up aging worse than William Shatner. Like, have you noticed that with Patrick Stewart, it seemed like between the age of 40 and 70, he didn't age a day, and then just crack. He was old. Have you noticed that? And he sounds old. He sounds like this. And if you watch Star Trek Picard up close and look at him, you can see him struggling to maintain his composure. It's sad and frightening, and I hate making fun of him. It's really sad to see that on television, but that's what we got. You can see him going like this and trying not to shake too much. I'm so sorry, but I mean, William Shatner, you can watch him on YouTube right now. He for God's sakes, he went to space. Did you know that? He actually went to outer space last year, I believe. Yeah, he became the oldest person ever to become an astronaut. And he is an astronaut, according to NASA. If you read the books on it, I don't want to turn this into a stream where I just show you all of my books. But when you breach the atmosphere and you go above what's called the Kármán line, you become an astronaut. And that means you're a star explorer. Okay, you explored the stars in person. You're an astronaut. And even in NASA, if you pass astronaut training school, they do you the courtesy of calling you an astronaut, even if you haven't been to space. They do that in case you die. Testing. They do that. That's just one of the freedoms you get. if you were in NASA, I don't know about other space agencies, but with NASA, if you do complete the training program, you are called an astronaut officially. However, you don't get your gold wings, I think it is, until you've gone to space. But suffice to say, William Shatner is a star explorer. But we all knew in our hearts that he always was anyway. Go look up his impromptu interview he gave after his trip to space. If you don't know about it, what was it on Blue Origin or something like that? One of these private rockets. Go look it up. He had some interesting insights. He talked about how the world is so small and the blanket of air is so thin, and we live on such a tiny amount of it. And when you go up just a tiny distance, you're just surrounded by nothing but death. It's just death forever. That's what he said. And it's an interesting way of looking at it, from someone who has, of course, been to, other solar systems like it was nothing. That's William Shatner for you. Of course, Christopher Pike was the first captain. Jeffrey Hunter, obviously, long since dead. So right now, William Shatner has graduated to the new person that we have our eyes on. I'm not an ambulance chaser, but when you're over 90, every birthday is a celebration. I'm sure you'll understand. Next is... I hate even saying this. I don't even want to say next, because that implies that we're losing someone. But life being what it is, we have George Takei. We have Nichelle Nichols. Okay. Who else do we have? Is Walter Koenig still alive? I think he is. Dang, man. We lost a lot of people. And no disrespect to the rest of the crew of the Enterprise from TOS. Not at all. And then TNG crowd is going to start getting old. Picard, like I said, on behalf of Patrick Stewart, he's already very old. There is a significant possibility that he dies before William Shatner. I never dreamed this was possible, because if you look at him in the Next Generation films, he looks fantastic. He looks buff. He looks strong. He looks agile. But something happened after like the year 2010, I think. Just went nosedived, and now he's the Patrick Stewart we got now, and we have to deal with Star Trek Picard with an ailing, geriatric-looking, disappointed individual on behalf of Patrick Stewart. I'm so sorry. I encourage you to just keep an eye on what's going on with William Shatner. For a brief moment, I thought about not doing this video, and then I remembered this could be it. And I said I couldn't live with myself if I missed a birthday, okay, for William Shatner. And this is ShatDay, March 22nd is the time I'm recording this. I don't know if it's going to get uploaded in that time. Maybe it'll be March 23rd when you're watching it. But for me, it's ShatDay. And I'm going to show you some of my Shat items. I don't know if I showed any of this stuff before, but bear with me. We're going to get through some Shat merchandise, and then I'm going to end off with a little bit of design room, because I am in engineering. This is my off shift, so I'm allowed to wear whatever I want. I do A and C shift on the bridge on the engineering console, and then I do D shift on engineering. But B is when I usually sleep. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Our shifts are strange, but usually half of my B shift, I will just sit here and just do nothing. Like, I'm at the break table right now, so don't worry about anything going wrong. We got it all under control here. We got it under control. We don't need to worry. This warp core looks old, and it is, but we've gone through numerous refits and we're up to code, so don't worry about it. I'll be right back. You watch it for me, okay? Here's William Shatner in Star Trek Generations. This figure came out obviously in the mid-90s when Star Trek Generations came out. I don't really love the movie. It's by Playmates. There he is there. He's in his Wrath of Khan style uniform, or the Monster Maroon, as some people call it. You get a cool badge that also acts as a stand for Captain Kirk. You get a wraparound tricorder, I think, and you get a phaser and a communicator. How can you go wrong, dude? How can you go wrong? Just so you know, if you ever wondered if the Star Trek franchise has depreciated in value at all, just remember that this random Star Trek film had toys on the shelf for kids, and they bought them. I haven't seen a single Discovery toy anywhere, or a Picard toy. I've seen them for sale online, but this was purchased at retail. Yeah, think about that. Every time I go to a retail establishment, it's Star Wars land. You know Star Wars? I don't. I see it written everywhere, and I'm like, what's Star Wars? What the hell is this? Throw it away, biff. Whew. Give me the Star Trek. What's Star Wars? I don't even know. What is it, a war that takes place in the stars? And you can see they actually got his likeness, like, pretty good. Like, it looks like Captain Kirk. Like, there's a lot of these toys where you just kind of have to imagine that it's them, but this one, it really appears to be him. It looks like William Shatner. And of course, we have an exclusive mini Star Trek Generations movie poster included, hailing all collectors, individually numbered figures. We can see the Galaxy Class Enterprise in the front, and we're using that anniversary style logo. Do you remember that from the 90s? That kind of different logo. See right there? And on the back, you can get, it says Star Trek Deep Space Nine toys coming soon. Crossroads of Time, I think. Not toys. Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. I don't like that game very much. I like the one on the Sega Genesis that I have now. I have the TNG one on that. Echoes of the Past or something like that. It's pretty good. Star Trek games got the bad end of the stick when it came to video games. Can we admit that Star Trek video games haven't been that good? There's Star Trek Bridge Commander, which is good. Star Trek Judgment Rights, Star Trek 25th Anniversary, the one I just mentioned on the Sega Genesis, Star Trek Online, and Star Trek Bridge Crew, like the one with the VR. Those are the only ones that even get to passable. Like, those games aren't amazing, but they're passable, right? Other sci-fi franchises have numerous fantastic games, right? Very hard to convert Star Trek into a video game, I will say. You need unbelievable hardware and programming power to make a Star Trek game that feels like Star Trek. Imagine you would need your own starship, crewed with hundreds of people that you can all interact with. You have to be able to fly the starship anywhere you want, having all kinds of random encounters that you can, and every encounter you have that's hostile, you have to be able to beat it diplomatically. How do you write that? That's very hard to do. And you had to have a minutia of planets to go down and explore on away missions. And you have to feel like you are pushing the boundaries of the Federation every day. You have to feel like you are boldly going where no one has gone before. Hard to do that in a video game. To encapsulate the fear of the unknown. But the light of courage that you can use to inflame the sconces along the way so you can find your way back. That's what Star Trek is. If you can imagine that. You know, so long as the flame inside burns hotter than the flames on the outside. And if you look at the back, what you can see is that the other characters from TNG, they're actually using their concept uniforms. Originally, when they were working on this film, they had new uniforms for the TNG crew that was like a cross between the Monster Maroon and the TNG outfit. It was kind of like a wraparound style TNG outfit. I thought they looked really cool, but they scrapped the idea and went back with the original TNG uniforms, perhaps to avoid confusion. Sad that we lost them, But a lot of times when people are making toys, like say Playmates, they have to work off of incomplete data. So they'll get like an outline of the movie and they'll have to make toys based off that. And then while the movie is being worked on, it might change a lot. So these toys are actually a brief window into like a beta concept for the movie that they're tying into. So that's the one thing that's actually seriously interesting about collecting toys, is that sometimes you'll see concepts that went unused. Like the famous, like, what is it? Like, air diving Kirk toy you can get. It's from a scrap scene where he was, what's that thing where you jump out of a plane with a parachute? Yeah, strange aero athletic plane jumping Kirk you can get, and that was I think it was a cut scene from one of these movies. It may have even been Generations. Now that I think about it, you can get Captain James T. Kirk, Montgomery Scott, Pavel Chekhov, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Dr. Beverly Crusher, Lieutenant Commander Data, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Lieutenant Commander LaForge, Commander Deanna Troi, Admiral Kirk in spacesuit, Dr. Soren, Lieutenant Commander Worf in 19th century outfit, Lursa, Bator, Lieutenant Commander William Riker, and Guinan. So the gang's all here. I'm not going to go into the plot of Generations. I didn't really like it that much. It's kind of confused. It's a little bit boring. And I'm not going to go into the background description of all these characters. Right here it tells you a brief synopsis of these characters. And what they are, and who, and what their like motive is, and all that. But we're not going to get into that. That's Star Trek Generations. Captain Kirk, Admiral James T. Kirk. Look at that. It says Admiral James T. Kirk, right there, right? But then on the back it says Captain James T. Kirk. So, what is it? How does this work? He was captain, and then he became admiral, and then he got busted back down. And then I guess he became admiral again by the time Generations rolled around. But then on the back he's referred to as captain. Maybe that's, spoiler alert, maybe that's him when he's in the Nexus and he thinks that he's captain again or something. He does go a little bit cray-cray. He goes a little bit insane in the membrane in that episode. I could have done personally with seeing him fly away into the background, into the sunset, as it were, in Star Trek 6. I didn't need to see him again in Star Trek Generations, but we can't leave it well enough alone. What else we got? Here's the Star Trek 50th Anniversary Prestige Stamp Booklet, featuring William Shatner, and also Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace. This star-studded prestige booklet with 15 stamps is our salute to groundbreaking franchise on its 50th anniversary. Includes more than 20 pages of iconic images and 5 exclusive souvenir sheets. A must-have for Star Trek fans. I also have the poster to go along with this. It's still furled up, so I can't show you. I won't be unfurling it to ruin its shape, but I have the poster, the 50th anniversary poster that goes along with this. Here's something else that's cool. I have, check this out. Here's the first 6 movies on VHS. I have them simply because they form the Enterprise, and it looks really cool on the shelf. On the back, it's not really that compelling. It's just like random space scenes. But Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III The Search for Spock, Star Trek IV The Voyage Home. Okay, here's where we get the weird dip in quality. Star Trek V The Final Frontier, and then we managed to pull it back from the brink of death with Star Trek VI Undiscovered Country. I really like this movie. It's got a few strange things, but we can't get into it here. Of course, all these movies starring William Shatner himself. I didn't even know I had this movie on tape. I have it though. Star Trek Generations. Excuse the chroma keying there. There it is. I didn't know I had this movie, but there it is. So I have every William Shatner film. I have Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan photo story. This is awesome. I used to love these. This is, imagine if you took the entire film and you broke it down into a comic book using pictures from the movie. Yeah. There's the Enterprise in the nebula. See? Here's Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, an audio adventure. Here we go. Now, look, you open this bad boy up. Look what you got. You got the audio version of the movie on cassette tape here. Look at that. Oh, look, we even have a little pamphlet left inside. An ancient ad for something. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, featuring a dramatic reading by Leonard Nimoy and George Takei, enhanced with sound effects and an original score, a gripping audio presentation of the most thrilling Star Trek adventure yet. Based on the smash hit movie. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Star Trek Movie Memories. If you want to learn all the behind-the-scenes details from the William Shatner Star Trek films, this is what you get. So many interesting things in here. Cool looking page there, look at that. Star Trek Movie Memories. William Shatner with Chris Kresge. Oh, it's all dated. July 20th, 1969. We're starting. And you're just following William Shatner on the behind-the-scenes goings-on of all these movies, and it's an incredible resource. Okay. I also have a few other books written by or partially written by William Shatner that I'm not going to get into here, but I have a few of them. I'm just looking at my Star Trek book pile now. I can't go through all of them. This is ShatDay, and we are looking at things that are exclusively featuring William Shatner, okay? Yep. 1994, 1993, Star Trek Movie Memories. That's right, guys. Don't worry about First Contact. I know you think it's cool, and I know it feels cool when you first watch it, but remember, did they put the escape pods back into the Enterprise before they went back to the future? Did I just ruin the movie for you? Yeah. So if you wanna steal my look, you can snap up those things on eBay for whatever they're worth, and you can pretend you're me, and then you can read all of them, and then walk around and pretend you're William Shatner, because you know all these Shat facts that we're not going to get into here, but it is Shat Day. So happy birthday to you, and I'm going to throw it on over to my other self in the design room. Here's the part of the job I love, everybody. This is what I want to get to. This is what I love doing. This is what I do naturally. This is what I do accidentally all day. But we got to do the reviews, you know. That's when we make the hay to survive the long winter. Okay, we do the reviews to trick the algorithm and to get people watching so that they can get to this. Okay, this is what I love doing. I don't really enjoy reviewing that much, but I do it because it's on topic, and things that on topic work well on YouTube. This kind of content does not. So this is when I get to enjoy myself. Okay, here's the Enterprise. I don't think I've shown you this. Most modelers or people who conceive of themselves as modelers will have one magnum opus that they've been working on for years on end, and they just can't put down, right? So what you see during the skit segments of my review videos is not reflective of how my models really look when I want them to look really good. Those skits are made after the episode comes out. I put those 3D skits together in 1 second after the review comes out. After I do the review, I mean, it is not reflective of how things could look. They look very silly. There's all kinds of mistakes, but I think it's funny, and if it's funny, then it's worth it. But if you're trying to make something serious, then it can't look bad. And that's why when I'm done working on whatever I have to work on, I always come back to the Constitution class, and I keep putting a little bit more in, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more every day until it looks pretty good. And this is Blender 2.9, which is the newest version of Blender that works on my station here. I know maybe if we get another refit on the ship, I can use Blender 3.0, but I'm going to switch to render view now. Look at this bad boy. Look at it. Isn't that something? We even got the strange scoop underneath the saucer. See that? That thing everybody forgets about? Underneath the original Constitution class, there's this bizarre scoop. Like somebody took a spoon and just went around the bottom of the saucer and scooped something out. A very weird design choice, but let's not question Matt Jeffries on this. This design is amazing. And I have been modeling the stationary version of it for years now. However, in the last few days, I've also taken to starting with animating some of the sections, okay? If you don't know, the Bassard ram scoop on the front of each nacelle on the Constitution class Enterprise are animated. And they are animated in a way that's different and unusual from all the other ones we've seen. Most ships in Star Trek that we've seen after TOS just have this red and black cloudy look to the nacelle ram scoops, and I always like the more mechanically interesting look of the older ones. But it's hard to emulate when you're trying to model it yourself because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. There's spinning bits, and there's also lights that change their luminosity. They go dark and then they go light, and then it looks like they move around sometimes, and there's like pink, red, blue in there. It's just a whole symphony of colors, and it's very hard to get it looking right. But here's what I have here, and I'm going to play it for you. So what we have done is just the mechanical spinning section here, and there's a little bit of a jitter to it. It's not perfect. I'm playing around with the looping speed right now to see if we can get it even better. Is that better? I think it might be. What you do to find out if something's looking right is just look straight at it and see if you can tell when it looped. And if you can't tell that it just looped, that means you got it, right? And right now I'm just paranoid about this because I can't really tell if this is looping properly. Like if there's a jitter in it, I don't know, but we can look at it from the side. Check that out. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be looking out this window too long right here. If I were in that window and I was looking at that all day, I might get hypnotized and fall over and maybe hit my head. So be advised, don't look out the window right there. I haven't actually done anything to animate the internal light fixture. That would be these orbs here, if you can see them. See these? These are various colored lights. And I think on the Constitution class, from what I see, I think they'll spin opposite to the spin of that black part, the black fan blades or whatever you want to call them. And I think they will actually flicker in and out. I think they will flicker like green, pink, white, and then they will like go from dark to bright like that. So that's going to be my next thing when I work on this, and I'm going to spare you the annoying bit of me actually trying to make it work like that, because it's probably not fun to look at. Do you see anything that's immediately wrong looking on this design? We even have the rust ring. Remember that? See how there's that kind of ring of slightly darker material there? We always call that the rust ring, and the Constitution class does have it. I'm not sure why it's there, but it's there if you see TOS, and there's been some controversy around it on whether or not it belongs there. Like, there was a lot of controversy around the Smithsonian model of this ship, and how to do the Aztecing or lack thereof on the ship. If you don't know what Aztecing is, it's the tiny little color variations that make it look like it's built from many different pieces. I've chosen to put Aztec on this, but it's controversial. As well as sometimes the rust ring, and some people don't recognize the scoop on the bottom of the Enterprise. I don't know why. Some people don't like it. I don't get it, but I see it. I think it's there. And there's our navigational dish surrounded by our deflector. I believe the deflector is inside these, because there is some confusion around that in this day, in the 2250s and all that, with the Constitution class. There is some confusion around that. Like, some people will mistakenly call this a navigational deflector, but I believe at this time it was just the navigational dish. Okay, but there is a deflector somewhere. I think it's inside these things, radially surrounding the dish. Also, some people believe that these three dots here is a auxiliary deflector array. I don't know if that's ever been confirmed, but people used to like to pretend that it was, because it seems like a cool spot to have it. And I've even gone with that spot for a deflector array. See, I'm making that mistake. I've even put a deflector array there, arranged in triplicate like this, on some of my own ships. So I've actually gone with that idea in a few different spots, but I don't think it's canon at all. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody bring it up, but some people will like to say that. Here's our shuttle bay with their little lights on there. I used to think that these lights would go off in a certain pattern. See how there's red, yellow, and green? I kind of thought that what pattern they were appearing in and how they were flashing, you would know what the status of the shuttle bay was if you weren't in the ship. So say your shuttle was coming, and you could look at the pattern that they were showing, those lights, and you could deduce whether or not you're clear to enter, or whether or not something's coming out and you have to get out of the way. I think that's what that was. If you have a different idea, or if you know more, go ahead and tell me. Also, this design is augmented somewhat based on what we saw from the canon Constitution class in Star Trek Enterprise Mirror Darkly. Remember how the Defiant went into the Mirror universe? And Mirror Archer and co. got a hold of it. If you look at that episode, there is a moment where you can see either phasers or a torpedo come out of the aft of the Constitution class, somewhere around here. So I put this hole here to suggest it, and I don't know how I feel about that, because there is some things in that episode that make the Constitution class look like it had maybe a few more things on it that weren't necessarily there in its original outing. But I like to think that that episode is perfectly canon, because remember, the Defiant did leave the Prime Universe in the episode Tholian Web, I believe. So we're just going to leave it at that. That strange green aura around this red band, I need to figure out how to get rid of that. I used to know, but I will get on that. The way these programs are, there's so many different ways to do the same thing that it's easy to forget how you did it last time. Rest assured, I've created this from scratch, but it's amazing to me that I can still forget how to do something. There is so much to learn with Blender. Just using it is a job in and of itself. But don't let that discourage you from trying it. I'm an 8-year vet at this now. I've spent probably hours on it every day for about 8 years now to get to this point. But the journey was so fun. I think the program is free. Everyone should try it. You're gonna feel like you're bashing your head against the wall for the first bit, but once you break through that wall, it's super fun. If you have a passion for it, if you really love this type of thing, if you're the type of person that finds yourself constantly drawing things that are 3D objects and have geometry to them everywhere, all over every piece of paper you've ever encountered, like I did, you're gonna love this once you get into it. But it's not. These things don't make themselves. Again, I have a lot of respect for the physical model builders. I think Star Trek looked amazing when the models are physical. But I know that we're in the future now, and they don't want to do that anymore. And we have to just go with CGI models, and they're never going to look as good as the physical models did. But, it's a dying art. Do people remember how to make physical models anymore? Like, what are you going to do? Call back in Andrew Probert? A real hero of mine? I mean, they're just not gonna. They're just gonna go with John Eves. Maybe Doug Drexler. I think Doug Drexler is working on Picard. So kudos to him, because I don't know if he was the sole designer behind the Stargazer. It could have been also a joint project with John Eves, but it looks fantastic, but except for the nacelles, that's where it falls apart again, time and time again. Why can't we get the correct nacelles in these dang shows? Since 2017, the nacelles have been wrong on every single ship. Nacelles so important. They're so important to balance out the design of your ship, and they're always wrong. Terrible on the Discovery. Terrible on the Stargazer. Listen, Starfleet doesn't need to design a new nacelle for every goddamn type of ship. Did you know that Starfleet itself does kit bashing? Did you know that? When you build things from parts you already have, that's called kit bashing. And Starfleet would do it too. Look at the Battle of Wolf 359. Lots of cool ships come out of that. All kit bashes. Fantastic ships. Classics. Okay, you don't need to design new stuff every time. They could have just had the Stargazer and built it out of Sovereign parts. It would have been beautiful. When you create a brand new flagship style of ship, excuse me for using ship twice, you're designing parts that you can rearrange, right? I mean, I'm guilty of designing ships from scratch for no reason, just because it's fun. But I'm not working on the show. You have to take what you got. If you're afraid of breaking canon, then don't. Use what you got. I mean, show the Excelsior, show the Sovereign, show the Miranda, show the Akira, and props to everybody working on Picard for the first episode. They showed those ships, but with some hideous modifications. And the Stargazer, fixed the nacelles. That's all I got to say on that. So, here's my Constitution class. What did you think? There's the impulse drive. And if we look really closely, we can even see William Shatner on the bridge. Oh, wait, no, we can't. Sorry. I lied. I just lied to you. You cannot see William Shatner on the bridge. But this is ShatDay. Yep. March 22nd, 2022. 3/22/22. ShatDay. 91st ShatDay. Are we going to hit 92? Are we going to hit 102? Are we going to hit 112? Just imagine when we can see Star Trek Kirk, and Kirk is playing his old self again, and he's back in action, and he doesn't look a day under 130. Just you wait. Just you wait. They're going to do that any moment now. He's been to space. Now he's back on TV. Star Trek Kirk. Do you guys see that Kirk has been recast in Strange New Worlds? We got a new Kirk again. Yeah, that's what I needed to see. I mean, we had our new idea for a show, Strange New Worlds, where we're going to explore Captain Pike, the unexplored country of the time immediately before Kirk. All these cool adventures to go on. New, untested waters. Virgin land. And, whoops, you guys remember Kirk. Kirk's back. These people, why did we need Kirk back? He doesn't even really look like Kirk. He looks too old. I don't know why he didn't take over for a few years yet, right? Didn't he take over in 2261 or something like that? The Enterprise? Am I dreaming? Tell me if I'm making this shit up, but I figured there should be a few years of Pike before Kirk rolls on the scene. Maybe they're trying to do some hackneyed excuse to get him on the bridge for a moment, just to trick you, just to get you to say, I remember that. Look, he's saying the Kirk stuff. Beam me up. That's what they want to do. And they're going to come up with some bullshit reason to get him on the bridge. Oh, he's just there for one episode and something happens and he has to take the center seat just for a moment and it plays the musical swell of this music and oh, isn't it so great? And I was literally crying. I was crying when I saw it. You guys got to watch this. Cha-ching. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe Strange New World is going to be great. But that was ShatDay. Happy birthday, William Shatner. And I'll see you guys on the next ShatDay.